Shir HaShirim is a Megillah filled with the themes of romanticism and naturalism. While the narrative recounts two characters who have fallen in love, the Drash analysis interprets the narrative as being an allegory for the relationship between Am Yisrael and God. I think that the Megillah is mainly about faith, more specifically the progression of religious and spiritual maturation. The constant repetition of naturalistic motifs, especially from the dialogue of the woman in the narrative, may exaggerate the love that the woman feels for the man, but I also wonder if what seems like desperate love talk is just an allegory for the common attempt to convince ourselves to have faith. To me, the descriptions of wine and doves and spices and fruits are redundant not because the two are love crazy, but because they are trying to convince one another that they are. I came to this conclusion because it doesn't seem to make sense that they would be repeating similar phrases over and over again, professing their love for one another. Why would one prove to someone that they love them through romantic, flowery words? Oftentimes, true love is expressed in action or even silence because it's natural and obvious. The romanticism is redundant and is perhaps only helpful in order to stimulate the relationship. For instance, Perek Bet is full of commands and these fantasies conjured up by the woman. Therefore, the woman's expression of love is immature and feels forced, perhaps because she's ambivalent about her own feelings, hoping that she could potentially change them on her own volition by exaggerating her love. Also, it seems as though the relationship that is attempted to be established is an ideal one, a perfect one that doesn't quite get there. The first perek, as we discussed in class, is one of ecstasy and immaturity as well. There's this desperate need for perfection throughout that I think is a metaphor for the struggle of keeping and the fear of losing one's faith. Oftentimes in Judaism, we are expected to do the actions before we consider the thought. This is Nehemiah Leibowitz's idea. We are expected to go about doing things despite doubt and resistance. I think that the romanticism in the Prakim is parallel to the personal encouragement toward the performance of mitzvot and the maintenance of our faith. In Perek Gimel and Hey, there's a break in the love story because both Prakim describe this gap between the two characters that can't really be filled. These two prakim describe the points when the woman cannot find the man. The illusion of filling the gap is the romanticism between them. I think that maintaining one's faith in Judaism is especially difficult because we're so open to questions. Pesach is all about the encouragement of questioning, and with questioning we have doubt, which endangers our faith. So I think that Shir HaShirim acts sort of as this way of saying that we must exaggerate our love for God and faith in God and sort of pretend that it's all perfect while simultaneously recognizing the gaps. We must maintain a balance where we don't get too lost when we're in love. In that case, we don't question. We also have to make sure that we don't completely reject the idea of exaggerated love because it's actually very necessary. I think we read the Megillah on Pesach because we're remembering the transition between a period of sufferance to a period of freedom. Evidently, it is extremely difficult to have faith after going through a period of such great pain, as it is for Holocaust survivors to recover their faith after their terrible experience. I think that Shir HaShirim teaches us the importance of self-control in our relationship with God, and is a sort of guide for what faith should really look like.